Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Chris Davis, and today we are going to do a video game review. Now, we haven't done this in a while, but the game we are reviewing is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now, I'm reviewing this because one, I played it a long time ago and never got around to reviewing it, but also Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is coming out. So since that is coming out, I've decided to go ahead and review this. Now, I have already reviewed Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and if you have not seen that review, I will have an end card somewhere up here. But with that being said, let's get into the review. So, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So I really liked this game. I enjoyed it. I do have some issues with it. So what I love about it is supposedly it's telling the story of how Calamity Ganon had taken over Hyrule in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Say supposedly because when you're playing the game, that's what you're led to believe. You believe that this game is showing you the story about the Kingdom of Hyrule in its glory days, in its former glory days, before Calamity Ganon was resurrected, had taken over the four noble beasts and all the other guardians, and had taken over Hyrule. You believe you are going to see this story play out. A lot of people who play this game played Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild gave us scenes through memories we unlocked about how the Kingdom of Hyrule was taken over by Calamity Ganon. Now, when you're playing this game, you believe you're going to see that Calamity Ganon is going to take over Hyrule. You believe you're going to see that story play out, just like in Star Wars. When you watch the prequels, you know that Anakin's going to fall to the dark side. You're just trying to see how it's going to happen, and you don't want it to happen, but you know it's going to happen. Anyway, when you're playing this game, right when Calamity Ganon is about to take over Hyrule, and you're going to see how Breath of the Wild plays out, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity does a plot twist. So the descendants who are in Breath of the Wild, the descendants of the champions, they come back, they come to the past in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity to save the champions before they are destroyed by Calamity Ganon's incarnate forms. So the game introduces a plot twist. The way that this happens is a small guardian called Tirco causes it to happen, and this prevents Calamity Ganon from taking over Hyrule. Now, there are some issues with this, and this is kind of the issue I have with this game. So Breath of the Wild, Calamity Ganon takes over Hyrule, destroys it. In Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Tirco, the small guardian, prevents that from happening. So where does Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity fit in all of this? Is this just a separate timeline? Is Breath of the Wild, is that game rewritten? Like, where does it fit in all of this? Because it's not so clear. Like, I guess the easiest thing to say is that it's a different timeline, an alternate timeline. But if it's just an alternate timeline, then kind of what's the point story-wise for the game? Because if it was just going to be a prequel of Breath of the Wild showing us how Calamity Ganon, how it had taken over the Kingdom of Hyrule, that would have been perfect. But since they've introduced this new plot twist, like, how does it fit into the Breath of the Wild franchise, like, story-wise? My only, like, kind of guess to it is that maybe somehow it's going to fit into Tears of the Kingdom, because in Tears of the Kingdom, if you watch the trailers, You see Link and Zelda traveling together, picking up where they left off in Breath of the Wild, trying to restore the Kingdom of Hyrule to its former glory. But somehow the two get separated and stuff. And if if Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity rewritten Breath of the Wild, then I don't believe Zelda and Link would be in the situation they're in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, the kingdom would be just fine, and the castle, Hyrule Castle, would be fine. Um, the land wouldn't be like destroyed and everything. Everything would be cool, but it's not. So, how does Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity fit into all of this? Is it going to somehow fit into Tears of the Kingdom, and if so, how? So that's kind of the thing that I'm wrestling with. So gameplay wise, this game is simple, and because it's so simple, that's what makes it a lot of fun. So it's really button mashing, but you can unlock further combos by collecting materials and uh, fulfilling the requirements on the map page. You can also increase your hearts and your special attack gauge. That's very useful. You even have cooking ingredients. So cooking, which was a big part in Breath of the Wild, returns in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. You can boost your stats with cooking. Uh, Also, you can also get an auto revive to where if you die, you can come back. Things you have to do when you're playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So these are very important. Other than increasing your heart gauge, increasing your special attack gauge, increasing your combos, you also want to increase power of your weapon. So that's fusing them, also raising their weapon limit. If you don't do these things, you're going to be underpowered when you get into the higher levels. It's going to be harder for you to destroy tougher enemies because your weapon is like completely under leveled. So you have to make sure you're leveling up your weapon, whether you're fusing it or you're raising the weapon level. Now, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity also released DLC to where you can play as Robbie and the other Sheikah scientist. I can't think of her name right now. Also, you can play as Teriko. But I think you could also play as Teriko before the DLC, so I may be wrong on that. But you can also play as Calamity Ganon. You can unlock Calamity Ganon in the DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So overall, really fun game. I really enjoy it. It's like Dynasty Warriors. You just hack and slash and destroy a lot of goblins and moblins. So the moblins are definitely a lot tougher to defeat. You're gonna have to fight smarter if you want to beat them. So dodging and doing flurry attacks. When the Sheikah prompts come up to use bomb, stasis, freezing, or magnesis, you want to use those to stagger the enemy. So you weaken their stamina gauge so you can do a finishing attack. So so the bokoblins are no problem. And the little bats and choo-choos are pretty much no problem. The issue comes for the tougher enemies like moblins, stone talus. I was just thinking of their name, but I can't remember. The Lionels and the Stone Taluses and the Guardians, you're gonna have to fight smarter. And when you're fighting them again, you want to level up your weapon so it doesn't take you forever to defeat them. So level up your weapons because that's gonna save you a lot of time if you do that. So that's all we have for today. If you liked what I had to share, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with all your friends, and all of you. Have a great day.